What's up, y'all? It's your boy EJ Tapealert, hottest in the city. We have the queen of groove soca from ST.Vincent, Zoelah. How are you today?
Hi EJ, thank you for having me. I want
you
to say
for
big
coming.
up to everybody that's watching Tapealert right now. My name is Zoelah Boyd. I am from the beautiful island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it's a pleasure being here today.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, spending this time with us. Let's get right to it. Introduce yourself again to the world. Where you from exactly, and tell us a little bit about what your upbringing was like.
Okay, well, as you know, like I did say earlier, I am from the beautiful island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I was born in Trinidad and Tobago, and I was raised in St. Vincent and the Grenadines from probably around the age of 2 years old. From there, my upbringing was very much, I had a very high church background where church was definitely mandatory in my family. Sang a lot in church, did a lot of singing in high school, took part in school singing events, school concerts, stuff like that. I actually started doing music at a professional level at the age of 17, and my first experience was with a band at that time. And in 2007, I established myself as a solo international soca artist with one of my first hit singles, Go Down Low, More Water. Then I had Wine Upon Me, then I had More Water. So basically that's it.
Okay, so at 7 years old, you found music.
Yes, at 7 years old.
17, you would say that your career has taken a professional turn. You signed up, and the band title, the name of the band is Signal.
Signal, yeah. Back then, that band was like one of the hottest bands in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we did a lot of tours. We did a lot of traveling. I went to London with that band. I went to Canada, here to New York. I learned a lot from just being a part of the band life back then. How to speak to the crowd, how to work a crowd, how to, break my fear of stage fright, stuff like that. From pretty much from the age of 17.
Okay. Now, in addition to that, at some point, an unfortunate, you dealt with an unfortunate hand in which you were homeless.
Yeah.
All right. You want to touch on that a little bit for us?
So at the age of 17, my mom was pretty strict, very old-fashioned. I was raised in a household with only boys, and I had 3 brothers. My mom was pretty strict, very protective, overprotective of all of her kids. So at 17, I guess she found out that I lost my virginity. She kicked me out. I was almost 18 actually, so it's about to be 18 in a few weeks. So she kicked me out, and I was homeless. I had nowhere to live for a while. And before I left home, before she kicked me out, I always aspired to be a singer from since I was a little girl. And I used to pray about it a lot. I used to pray about, being a star. Oh God, please, when I grow up, I want to be a superstar. I want to be, you know what I mean? And so when she kicked me out, instead of like getting down on myself and, running behind friends and, doing a bunch of stuff that most teenagers would do, I took that opportunity to go and pursue my music, because I no longer now have to deal with my mom or anybody telling me, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. You kicked me out. You don't care about me. Fine. I figured, let me go and pursue my dreams. And I remember they was having an audition for a lead singer, and a friend told me about it, and he was like, I think you could do it. I was like, yeah, let me know. So he hooked it up. And it was 25 girls when I got to the studio. It was a live band studio. When I got there, 25 girls. And I literally flattened the place, and they winded up picking me. So once they picked me, I forgot about everything. I was just so happy to be on stage. One of my first performances was actually with another soca artist who goes by the name of Destra Garcia. She's also from Trinidad, and better known as the Queen of Bacchanal, right? And at that time I was 17 years old, and when I did my first performance with the band, it was actually to back her up. So then she ended up giving me a few pointers because she liked the way I sang, and she was like, if you really want to do this, this is what you got to do. You come up with one song, then you come up with 2, and then eventually you keep rotating every year. You do 3 the next year, or you do 2 the next year, and stuff like that. So I basically, took the advice, and from there, kind of like found my way after being homeless. Even though I was homeless, music somehow was like my escape, from the mental strain of wondering like where I'm gonna go, or who's gonna look out for me, or who's gonna take care of me. In my mind, being young and sprung, music took care of me, Yeah.
So, we were, off the record talking about the difference in the levels of sound of music. And here in the States, a lot of people can't really, I don't want to say they can't really, but a lot of people get confused with dancehall, soca. Explain to us exactly, describe to us your sound and the difference between dancehall and soca music.
Yeah, well, my personal sound is, I like a lot of classical music. I'm a major fan of rock and roll music. I just love music in a whole. It makes me very happy, right? And I'm very passionate about music. But my style of music is more like R&B type soul, and in a way that is what soca really is. Soca is also a mixture of African music and East Indian music as well. And of course, a mixture of soul and R&B. Soca is the type of music that you could kind of like mix with anything, kind of like dancehall, but dancehall is a product of reggae music, basically. Soca, on the other hand, like the type of soca that I do groovy soca. It's a much slower tempo. It's not as upbeat and fast. It's more slower, so you could kind of relate it. Drake could jump on it. Justin Bieber could get on it.
Okay.
That type of speed, that type of BPM. Probably at 100 BPM, 99 BPM, anywhere between there, that's groovy soca. Anything from 150 to 125 and up is considered power soca. That's the one you jump on the road for labor, that fast one.
Right.
That's what you call power soca. The type of soca that I do soca in general, but I mainly specialize in the groovy soca. So that's why I call myself the queen of groovy soca. And then when it comes to soca, I know dancehall has reggae, and then back then they used to say things like rubber dub, things like when you Super Cat and them man would sing like rubber dub and them thing there, But soca now, there's groovy soca, there's power soca, there's calypso, and then there's kaiso. Kaiso, for example, is more about, it's a very much slower tempo. I'm talking way slow, like 50 BPM. Where they sing about social commentary, stuff like politics, stuff like abuse against women, stuff like what happened when they jump over the neighbor's wall and the dog bit them, and just little funny stuff like that. So there's a huge difference between soca and dancehall. Dancehall is originally established also from Jamaica. As you guys know, reggae is like the Jamaican culture, right? And so that's where dancehall basically came from over time. It's just a sped up version of reggae.
Okay, so kaiso is more so like a conscious,
yeah, it's
version.
more like a conscious version of soca.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being that kaiso is a more conscious version of we said soca music.
Of soca music, yeah.
Tell us about your single "Wind Up On Me," and is there a direct parallel to well, not direct parallel, but just tell us about your single "Wind Up On Me."
Oh, so "Wind Up On Me" was one of my. It was, I would say, like maybe my second largest song. My first original song that established me was "Go Down Low." "Wind Up On Me" came in 2008, 2009. And I would say all soca music, including every other groovy soca that you could think about, it's all stemmed from calypso, kaiso, all of it, right? I mean, naturally, things like we all grow, right? We all gonna move to a more advanced stage in life. No matter what we do, no matter what happens, things are gonna change. Technology, housing, cars. So it's basically like the same thing. Like it's just a more upgraded version of kaiso and soca. "Wind Up On Me" I'm a very emotional person. Like I would say, everybody would think that women are emotional, but when I was starting music and writing my own songs, when I just started before I became established, people used to be like, "Oh, you sound just like this person, than this person," and I didn't like that. I wanted people to know me, right? And so the best way, I figured to myself, the best way for people to know me was for me to write my own words and give them me. And so Wine Upon Me, it's basically a love song. It's about an experience that I had with someone. And I remember going into being a part of bands and getting all those lessons from people that were leading in bands that saw my talent and were like giving me encouragement and giving me little tools. They would always be like, you always got to try to strive to like be yourself, you know what I mean? And so Wine Upon Me, I figured, why not put my personal business out there? Of course, I figured come up with a creative way of speaking about my experience. And I know like a lot of people, like at that time too, I have girlfriends, I have young guy friends that we all talk about each other's, partners with each other. We talk about that experience, that sexual experience with that person, and I know that everybody could relate to what I would be saying in that song. That song, when I wrote it from my heart, and I wanted it to touch the world, and it did so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, being a female soca artist, or those unfair comparisons, do you feel like they can sometimes, hinder your motivation a little bit in some ways when you want to, make a song, for example? And the reason why I actually like No Stupid Gal, there's a reasoning behind that. Everyone, when they go in the studio, they make songs, and not just they put their heart, but they put like a life experience. Do you feel like those unfair comparisons can sometimes place a wall in front of you?
I would say not too much with soca. I mean, if you really listen to everything that's going on today, soca might be one of the only genres that's left that doesn't have too much explicit content, right? Like we said, soca music is a mixture of African music, East Indian rhythms, you name it, it's in there, right? It's just a lot of a seasoning, basically. It's a tempo, it's a vibration. But one thing about soca, it's happy music. It's supposed to make you feel happy. It's supposed to make you feel like you want to dance. It's supposed to make you feel like you want to hold on to somebody and do, something to party with a little bit of liquor in your head, even if you don't know this person, but you're just having a good time, and that person could agree to have a great time too. I think there's some bias as a female in the industry as a soca artist? Of course, there is. I've experienced it on a personal level. But would I say it's on a major scale? No. Has it affected me? No. It wouldn't affect me because I'm going to do whatever I want to do regardless, right? Because I'm Zoelah. I'm going to be Zoelah. The people want Zoelah, so I'm going to be Zoelah at all times, right? And one thing, my fans already know that I bring, the sexy to my music, or I'm not singing like every other soca artist. My message is not like every other soca artist. So I'm a little bit different than most.
Okay. So tell the people about the song, or your single, Uptown Julie.
I had Uptown Julie. Uptown Julie was done a few years ago, produced by Ricky Blaze. It was me, Ricky Blaze, myself, Kes from Trinidad. He's also a very well-known artist in the soca industry, and Egyptian from Jamaica. That song got a lot of love. The rhythm itself, the Uptown Julie rhythm, was a really big deal. Also, I wrote that song like I write all my songs, except for like Stupid Gal. Stupid Gal wasn't written by me, but Uptown Julie was like another song that I wrote from my heart, because at the time I was feeling, and whatever I was feeling, I ended up, deciding to put into words. For the most part, Uptown Julie rhythm was a mixture of, to me, a slower version of soca with a little bit of dancehall. And I'm a person that my sound, as I said, is more crossover. I like that feel. I I've always imagined having a different sound even before I became an artist. That was always my mission, to be different than everybody else. And when I heard the Uptown Julie rhythm, the first thing I thought, wow, this sounds a little bit like soca-ish, but it also has a little bit of dancehall, and I don't mind like crossing over into that dancehall feel a little bit too, because that's what I'm all about, mixing as much as I can until
sound and energy.
Yeah, it's just like food,
Right.
with the right seasonings, you never know,
You
might
don't
come
know
up
what
with
to come
something
out.
great.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Got it.
yeah.
You just recently hit a festival stage. Tell us what stage that was, what that experience was like.
Okay, well, I did a few events in Brooklyn, in New York, actually. Then I had, my last event was in Springfield, Boston, for the carnival season, only because, since the pandemic, they've been closed and nobody's been able to come out and enjoy the festivities. So, from that event to now, there's some other events lined up, like London, for example, Canada, coming up next year. So yeah, just looking forward to more and more events.
Awesome. So from with your musical experience and seeing how grimy the music business can be.
Yeah.
Tell us some of your do's and don'ts, and were there any experiences that kind of turned you away from? No, I don't want to work over there. I'd rather stay over here.
Yeah, I mean,
if you can remember any.
I mean, it's just like hearing stuff in society. Like you're a social person, right? And you hearing somebody saying, "Hey, that particular corner store over there, like they be doing a bunch of stuff over there, and everybody's talking about it. So you're obviously not gonna go over there after everybody already said something negative." So for me, it's more like that. I've never really had any run-ins with people per se, but I've had some bad experiences. I would say that my most important do's, right, especially as a female, is to respect yourself first, right? You don't gain anything by, you know what? This is not love and hip hop, so I don't want to use that term, but you don't want to like sell yourself short, basically,
okay.
Right? You have to know and believe in yourself to a point where you're passionate enough, you're doing the work to know that your work is going to speak for itself, basically. So you shouldn't have to, disrespect yourself, act in an undignified manner as a woman, just to get plays on the radio or just to be heard. On top of that, in these times, social media is like such a free platform for everybody at this point. Like anybody can become famous on social media. So that would be like one of my most important don'ts. Another important don't is to not act as though you're too big or you're too better to listen to what somebody else is saying, or ideas, or just encouragement from anybody. It's always good to take the advice that you get along the way, and just be humble. That's definitely a don't. Like, don't act as though you're too smooth to take a little advice, and just because things are going good that you want to act over the top cocky, which nothing is wrong with being cocky as an artist, because let me tell you, when I was on my peak, I met so much people. The love was like, it's crazy, right? And you don't remember everybody, you know what I mean? But the most important thing for me was always to remain humble. My do's that I definitely promote to everybody is to do believe in yourself and do always have a positive outlook on your work, right? Some people are gonna hear, but I don't like that. I don't think that's like, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody's gonna believe in you. That's what I told myself. I was like, how is the people gonna know Zoelah if I don't present Zoelah, right? And music is very much about energy with music, right? So if I'm going in thinking, oh, it's not gonna work, guess what? It's not gonna work. So I went in thinking, I believed in myself so much that I still get hate even now, but I was so overconfident. My confidence is still up there, right? To the point where I thought to myself, listen, by the time I'm done believing in myself, everybody's gonna believe everything that I'm saying in my music, and it actually worked. So that's definitely a do for me. Do believe in yourself, do believe in prayer, do believe in still saying thank God in your interviews. I've done it in many years of doing interviews all over the world, like when I did travel and tour, did my many tours in international countries. You know, I did big up God, you know what I mean? And do remember to take good advice along the way, and do remember to not categorize yourself in a box, right? So I'm not that soca artist that just wants to be a soca artist. I'm Zoelah, and I'm an artist, right? That's how I see myself.
Good. Outside of music, are you a part of any organizations, any pageants, competitions that you want to share with us?
Not at the moment, but
Okay.
I have competed. You know, over the years, I've done a lot of Soca Monarchs. I don't know if you're, familiar with that. Like Trinidad has the International Soca Monarch competition, where every other Caribbean island kind of like vies to go into that competition. I think it's $2 million,
Okay.
the fee, and I was probably one of the first, Caribbean, one of the first people to place in that competition, females that wasn't even from Trinidad. So let me break it down for you. Even though I was born in Trinidad, I was raised in St. Vincent. So naturally on stage, they still called me the Queen of St. Vincent,
Got it.
right? Because I was raised in St. Vincent. But nonetheless, I'm a West Indian, I'm a Caribbean woman, so it didn't stop nothing. Not right now, and these are things that I'm looking forward to, moving forward for next year, onward, jumping back out there, doing the groundwork, going back to Trinity Carnival, letting people see my face. Music is something that you have to kind of plan, and while you're doing the work. You don't plan it after you do the work, you have to plan while you're doing the work, and these are things that I've been doing. As you know, I've just released, I've had You Alone on the Beach Chair Rhythm with Marsha Montano, myself, Problem Child. Then I had Rum Mass and Party with Problem Child. Then now I have Zest, which was also written by Problem Child. And now I have Stupid Gal, which was also written by Problem Child. And I have my own list of songs that haven't even been released yet. I have definitely been working on my EP. My EP is gonna consist of not just 100% a sound of soca. It's gonna be more of an interesting sound mixed with soca. I really love blending my music, and the plan is to go back home to St. Vincent, bless the place this year for Carnival. Seeing that now that since the pandemic's been open, carnivals are now opening back up everywhere in the Caribbean right now, starting with St. Vincent. So St. Vincent had their first carnival from June to July. We have the luncheon from the 5th of May, and then from the 29th to about the 5th of July is when we have, all the events. We have Miss Caraval, we have Miss St. Vincent, we have pageant shows and stuff like that. And so, I'm looking forward to going back in and, doing the groundwork, doing the interviews, letting people see me again, getting on big stages in the Caribbean, and spread it out, coming back out to the international arenas, stuff like that. Also looking to drop more videos. I have my own list of songs that I'm working on still, and of course that's going to be a part of my EP and stuff like that. More collaborations, hopefully with different artists. Like I said, I like to mix, and I don't like following. I don't like to do what everybody else is doing, right? So I'm very much open to even merging with somebody on the international level from here.
What advice do you have for the young ladies that are influenced by you that are following you? Your fans, what advice you have?
I mean, ladies, just be respectful to yourselves first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to be confident. Let me tell y'all something. If y'all don't know, a man loves confidence. Okay? I mean, you could have a car, you could have the best friends, nice expensive bags, a great job. If you don't have confidence, like, nobody's gonna see you. So you gotta believe in yourself, have respect for yourself, respect your body. You know what I'm saying? Try to learn to love yourself, value who you are. It's funny, for a long time that during my years of, adulthood and being more mature and stuff like that, I had to really take some time from being in a relationship. I wasn't in a relationship for almost 5 years. And I know it sounds crazy, but I was really going through some stuff and I needed to take that time to kind of like find myself, and it was the best decision I ever made. And for all the ladies listening, if you hearing people talking on social media, about love yourself kind of stuff, like, don't worry about that kind of stuff, like, don't listen to them. Everybody has to find themselves, right? There's a God in all of us, all right? And until that third eye is open, until your senses is open, until you could establish yourself and realize who you are and realize your value, realizing, hey, this is what I think I could take and this is what I'm not going to put up with, or this is how far I can go and this is not how far I can go, stuff like that, then, you're just going to be running in circles, So I just want to encourage everybody, especially women, to be respectful. I'm not going to say, I could say be respectful to each other. And we know we be cat fighting sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's not easy being a woman. So the only thing that we have is a respect for ourselves, all right? So be that and nothing else.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Last but not least, can you give us some blended soca tunes?
Oh me, oh my, boy don't be shy, look into my eyes, tell me how you feeling, baby. Here's what I want you to do. Hold me and don't let go. Warm me up like I exercise. Ready? Me wanna give me that fire. Waka harder. Me want you give me my desire. Waka harder. Wet me down with water. Waka harder. Passion sweet, not sour. Waka harder. Give me the passion fruit. Ooh, make me say ooh, ooh. Give me that fruit. Ooh, make me say ooh. Oh yeah. Hey.
Oh, awesome! That was amazing. Thank you, Zoelah. Tell the people where they can find you.
So guys, I'm glad. I'm so happy. Thank you for having me again on Tapealert. And for everybody locked on, if you're trying to see more about Zoelah, you could go to my Instagram at Zoelah Music, IG at Zoelah Music. That's ZOELAH Music. If you want to hear all of my songs and more from me, you could also check out all my songs on SoundCloud. That's soundcloud.com at Zoelah Music. That's ZOELAH Music/SoundCloud. Facebook fan page is at Zoelah Music, and YouTube, subscribe to my page on YouTube at Zoelah Music, YouTube at Zoelah Music.
Tapealert, hottest in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Tapealert.
Tapealert on the